living up the coast in Ballygally, I was removed from, if you like, what was happening in Belfast. But I felt compelled to make some sort of something about what was happening in the north of Ireland. I had been interested in doing work on conflict before, and to have something on my home ground that I could work on was quite important. And I wanted to make a statement about how daft, how awful, how unnecessary all of this was. First of all, I tried to do some sort of painting, because I started off as a painter, really. I was trying to make paintings of the Troubles, actually more mad than Troubles. But the work that I was working on didn't have the same resonance or the same effect, or because the graphic images coming from television and newspapers was just so stark and so immediate, in a way that me doing a painting in Ballygally didn't just have that quality. And I tried using stenciled images from newspapers and things to start off with. So I sort of developed the idea that I was quite intrigued by places where something unpleasant had happened. And I started to make little three-dimensional maquettes of either rooms that, as I say, something unpleasant had happened in. There was a particularly unpleasant place called the Romper Room, where loyalist paramilitaries beat up their victims. So I made a little romper room, but there was nothing specific in it. They were just clues if you look carefully at it. The problem was these were mainly made out of quite not very robust materials. I used balsa wood, maybe some metal in them. But to protect them then, I put them in a box. These were quite small objects, and the box worked very well. It protected them, and it abstracted them slightly from just being, it removed them just away from reality in a way that I enjoyed. So that was the start of putting things in boxes. I didn't actually realize, or I hadn't really thought about Joseph Cornell, who I'm compared to. The main difference between myself and Cornell is he used mainly found objects and just simply reassembled them, where I actually made most of the stuff that goes into my boxes. The box then developed, and they got bigger, and the example that's here is one of my bigger boxes. And I did a series of boxes about this size. One was called The Conceit of the Dead, which I was quite pleased with, because the dead seemed to control our destinies in Northern Ireland to a rather alarming degree. The dead in the past, the one that's here. I was so disgusted with the tribalism that was happening in the north of Ireland. the flag waving, the big drum beating, the painted curbsides, the marking of territory by both sides, because I find that both sides are equally as bad. Their excuse for some of the most disgusting incidents that have marred Northern Ireland's recent past actually is not so recent any longer. And flags was one of them. So this box is about the man who hated flags. And if you notice, the flags have no emblems on them at all. They're just rusting flags.